it's very rare that I know about the band that I am about to watch before I actually get to sit down and watch them. But this group has been on my radar for quite some time now, and I have always been incredibly apprehensive to talk about them. They are wildly talented from everything that I can tell, and I just never thought that I could adequately describe how good they are using my limited vocabulary. But I'm going to sit down and watch these guys no matter how nervous I am to talk about them. I am talking about the three-piece band Asterism. I have been following Hal-Ca on various social media platforms for a while now, but I've been nervous to talk about them because based on how she plays, I think they might just be completely over my head, but I'm going to give it a go and face my fears and talk about this band that I have been putting off for way too long. Let's listen to Asterism, the gnarliest, heaviest, lightning fast, incredibly gifted band out of Japan. Here we go. I like it. Remind me of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, that was easy. I think they're great, and they're going places. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Roll credits. They're not rolling, are they? All right. I got to do this. We're going to do this. Oh, hold on. How many? Oh, God. How many strings is my bass brother playing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Oh, man. All right. I'm sorry. I hate stopping in the middle and commenting. It disrupts flow. Okay. 7. 7 strings. Oh, boy. All right. Let's start over. Reminds me of, like, the intro to Taxi. Very pretty. Oh, my God. The comic book onomatopoeias are a nice touch to a video like this, where it's just all white. Like, how do you fill this? This was not what I was expecting. They're really good. They're really effing good. They have great sense of musical direction too. This is the thing that I was not expecting. Like my guy wearing the Squid Game Adidas pants. Oh, that is such a great sound. I love this. It's really good. Holy shit. That was so pretty. It was very pretty at times. It got like gnarly and shreddy and all that, but like the bits in between where they brought everything down and their bass player was up on the high part of the neck, and it was that kind of keyboardy effect, very light drumming. Like, that's the stuff I was not prepared for when I had a very surface level, I will admit, surface level glimpse of who Asterism was in the kind of music that they play. I should probably go back to like the beginning. So I don't know how much I've talked about it on this channel, but I do play some guitar. It's actually like beyond singing. Guitar was the first instrument, like, I sat down and, you know, I still take guitar lessons, and I try to practice and all that. I know, obviously, I go very bass-heavy at times, because for me, just physically playing the bass has always been more gratifying and more fun. But I do love guitar, and I do appreciate, like, very talented guitar players. My instructor and I bonded very early on when I first met him, because we were both metal fans. He's older than I am, not by much, though. But we kind of have the same love of like 80s metal, and we're both big fans of Marty Friedman. Marty does a show on YouTube called Rock. I had never heard of Asterism. I actually thought the band was called Hal-Ca because of their guitar player, Hal-Ca. There's a segment on their show called Special Session where Marty will jam or play a song with whoever their guest is. And so this is the first time I got to watch Asterism and Hal-Ca specifically play. So they get into this special session, and like, I know what Marty can do. I know how he plays stylistically, all that stuff. I had never seen this young woman in her big orange comfort sweater and they take off into it. I think the song is called Stars. Just two people having a conversation. Such a Marty phrase. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't look real. This does not look, it just looks fake. It's not. It looks, look at her hand. What are we doing? So that's how I first discovered the band that I thought was called Hal-Ca and later came to learn was actually known as Asterism. And there are so many things happening in that video that I just find so enjoyable. Like right at the very, first of all, the whole cast is just like, what was that? I think Marty asks something to the effect of "Kono hente phrase, what is ka?" Which is like, where do you come up with these perverted phrases? Is how he puts it. And her answer. Dragon Quest の音楽とか聞いてて、それでそのなんかゲーム音楽とかの感じ勉強して作ったり。Dragon Quest. Video game music, which I think there's so much great music within video games if you don't game. Some of the coolest music I've ever heard in my life was from playing video games. So the idea that, you know, young Hal-Ca is sitting in a room and playing Dragon Quest or some other RPG and hears this stuff and goes, oh, this is where I draw inspiration from is so cool. The part of the video, though, that really, I watch it and I have the same reaction every time. The alternate picking part, it's got to feel cool that you are seated next to just an absolute legend and like rock god, metal god in Marty Friedman, and he's trying to keep up with you and not the other way around. And there's this part where you look at her hands and it's like, it looks like the film is sped up. I remember the first time seeing it, it reminded me of, like, if you've ever seen film from like the 30s and it looks faster, watching like Babe Ruth like hit a home run, you know, it looks kind of janky and weird. That's what her hands look like. Her hands look like they have been sped up in her space. Like that is how fast she is moving and everything around is slow. Like that is wild. It is so freaking crazy to look at how quickly and cleanly. That's the thing. It's so clean. When metal things go, that is too metal. Like, you know. Like, we aren't seeing something that we see every single day. I mean, even at one point, Rolly just has this look at his face like, what? Mio is your drummer. Miu is your 7-string bass player. And then, of course, Hal-Ca, who I've just been gushing over for the last 15 minutes, is your guitar player. They have been playing music together, I think, for the last 10 years. They've basically been musicians for, like, their entire lives. The thing that in the video I said I was surprised by, and I generally try not to make assumptions based, or I try not to assume too much on what I'm about to hear before I hear it, but this was sort of a unique situation where I had an idea of the group before I actually got to sit down and listen to them. But the sense of direction, that shocked me, because you can get bands that, or musicians even, that have all the ability in the world. My technique flex bands. And I'm not saying that as a dig. I think there is absolutely a place in music and performing for your technique flex bands. One of the reasons I've never really fallen head over heels for that style of rock music, like I have with other styles, is sometimes what you get in the technique, in the pure ability, you lose sense of direction. You lose that journey. And I've talked about this with other songs, like getting from point A to point B. How are you getting there in the sense of the song? There are some really, really talented musicians out there, really talented bands out there that go like the prog direction, and you almost lose the sense of like what a song can be and sometimes what a song should be. And I was really, really happy that they kept going back to the lighter aspects of it, the little upbeat drumming part. You know, they sort of had this like almost like a reset point. I don't like putting other groups down. I don't. But sometimes with these technique flex bands, they almost create music that is, and this is a really strong way to put it and probably not entirely accurate as far as the definition, but at least to me when I hear it, it sounds borderline like atonal. Like you can play all the notes, you can play them faster than everybody else, and that's impressive. I'm not saying that it's not. For me, a sense of melody, a sense of that journey again, I think those are the things that will set you out. And I think those are the things that will make a song easier to listen to. Like, I'm a big dumb music nerd, so like this kind of ability in playing is always going to interest me. Like, I'm going to stop and go, what is happening here? But is the average person going to be blown away that you can, you know, hit every arpeggio and you can do them in half-step increments that, you know, while might look cool, tone-wise, probably not getting a lot out of it. I don't know. Their ability to have ability and also put it in the framework of a song that has these clear beat points, your highs, your lows, that I think is so crucial. And I mean, like, I get goosebumps. I gotta go back and this. Having this as your foundation, as your place to land. Oh. The hair on the back of my neck is standing up. Yeah, I'm not covering these guys, by the way. I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself trying to replicate. There's something like psychologically that I can't get past is going from a 4-string bass to a 5-string bass. For me, made sense because I always wanted that lower end, you know, my B string, because I always played stuff that was, you know, kind of down-tuned anyways, so it just always felt natural. But you start getting into like 6 strings, 7 strings. I think I did count that correctly, and that is a 7-string bass. I would not know like where to begin with one of these bass lines. They have videos that go back 9 years, so they're like 13. That bass is half the size of its body. It's like cemetery gates. I made this point, and I just thought of it while I was watching Lil Asterism 9 years ago. And I made this point when I was doing my video on Freeze the Fall, who are also a group of very young musicians that also have clear talent. The people in their lives that are supposed to be guiding and influencing the young minds, the young growing minds of Asterism or whoever else. I think having the right support can absolutely make all the difference. Is like if I'm sitting there and these are mom, dad, come watch me, me and the boys down the street, we put this band together and we're gonna play a song for you. You're like, oh, okay, sure. And then they do that. Like, oh my god, my kid is a savant. This is awesome. Where do they get this from? They get it from my side of the family. It must be your side of the family. But having the support of your elders, having the right teachers, I think, makes so much of a difference in the mind of a young musician to push where you need to push, but then also drill the stuff that needs to be drilled. Because to me, it seems like they are absolutely students of the musical game. Their knowledge and enthusiasm that they seem to possess for Western rock music, of songs that came out and existed long before they were ever born. To want to go back and learn about this music that is as old as you are, and not to be old man on the porch and everything, but sometimes these kids these days don't take the time to see where all of this came from, the stuff that came before them. Yeah, I'm not covering these guys, by the way. So I ended up taking a detour that I did not anticipate on taking, but I heard that song 155, and it was like a combination between Hidenori Shoji and Pantera, and I thought that was really cool. And it also sounded like something that was kind of within my grasp as a bass player. It sounds silly to call myself a bass player when looking at what Miyu can do with his own instrument, but I had to give it a shot. Naturally, I root for, all these bands that I try to cover here on this channel. And Asterism is no different. They're still very young, but clearly working at the talent that they already possess. I enjoyed everything about this band. I am sorry it took me so long to sit down and dedicate the appropriate amount of time for them. The music is super fun, super technical. I think there's something for like all kinds of rock and metal lovers here. I could be wrong, but it seems like they have interest in cultivating a Western audience with a lot of their social media postings, as well as a lot of the music that they cover is Western music, English written. So if that's the case, look, Asterism, you guys 100% have a fan in me. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Again, I think your music is really, really cool. And I'm happy I got to sit down and listen to it. I tried to learn a little bit of it as well, but Miyu's a beast. I mean, all three of them are exceptionally talented, but I can't play bass like this kid plays bass. But I still had fun trying to put a little bit of it together. So thank you to Asterism. Thank you to Rock for setting me down this path, as well as like a lot of people would comment on my videos and say that I needed to check out Asterism. So thank you for planting that seed in my brain and letting it grow into a bright, beautiful flower. I don't know where the heck I was going with that. If you want to follow along with me on social media, you may. Socials listed here. If you want to keep me an iced copy, good God. You may follow along with me on social media if you wish. You may keep me an iced coffee if you wish. You are not obligated to do that. However, you are obligated to have fun and enjoy music, and have fun enjoying music. Those are the three things you are obligated to do. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I will see you in my next video. Roll credits.